Okay, so as we saw in the summary video, we can now make a set of tubes where the liquid is coloured if it contains some appreciable concentration of the substance. So we've got this red colour here when the concentration is 1 millimolar. And that will persist when we pipette up. So if we pipette something in this tube up now, it will be red. If we add it to this tube, we've got that slight tinge on there now. Let's make that a little bit more dramatic. You can see it's getting a little bit redder, commensurate with the concentration. And we can at any stage get a log of what pipetting actions that we've done. We can get a log of what tubes we've made, and we can get a log of what absorbances these tubes would be if we were to take the solutions and read them in a spectrophotometer. So the key thing that enables us to do this is this gather tube data script. Basically, it lives on the empty holder in the main scene, and the key component of it is this string, which I've called spreadsheet because that's the thing that's going to be built up with data, in this case absorbance data. And the little trick is that you, at the end of making this, completing this spreadsheet, this string, you send it to an input field. And that means that when you display that input field, the user can interact with it because they can click into it and they can take things out of the input field. So they can copy and paste to Excel. And we have a display panel that we can toggle on and off to show that TextMesh Pro input field. So when we call the function, we basically create a blank row of titles, and then for each tube that's in the scene, we go to the liquid in tube place, find the concentration, multiply it by the extinction coefficient, and then make a line with the tube name and that absorbance. Now, that at the end of doing all of that loop, we then make the input field contain that string, and we show the dialog. So for that to happen, we have to have a list of tubes, and the way that we do that now is we've created a public list of tubes in our new tube script, and when we make a tube, we add a tube to the list. So that was quite easily dealt with. Now in the tubes creation script, we can also have a string which every time we make a tube records the volume and the concentration of what we've just made. Similarly, on the pipette action script, we have a string which is going to hold a record of what's happened. When we start the solution, we make the first row of that. And then every time we do a pipetting, we simply contribute to that ever-growing string, either with a suck up or with a dispense. So in this way, we're able to hold strings on our new tube script and our pipette action script, which we can then access using these functions, which I've just got on the gather tube data script, obviously controlled by these buttons on the canvas. So this now enables us to get data from our tubes. We can start getting things like absorbance, very easy one. But of course, further down the track, we could imagine that the chemicals within the tube are reacting, and we might get some other type of readout. We can get some intel on what the user has been doing with the pipetting. We can get intel on what they've made. So you can see that we're really starting to build up a good picture of how the user has interacted, what decisions they've made, and what results have been created as a consequence of all their decisions and their actions. So this is really getting to the heart of what the data generator is all about.